Why don't the Palestinians just leave their land? Why didn't they just go to Egypt? Why didn't they just pack up and do this? But then anyone who says that has never met a Palestinian Ammu in his 70s or 80s who will literally tenderly brush the leaves on an olive tree and say, you know, my great-grandfather planted these olive trees and these trees are like my children. There has been such a deafening silence around the killing of our colleagues in Gaza. It feels as though sections of mainstream media have been complicit in justifying Israel's actions. So that for me was the springboard moment, if you will, the watershed moment where I was like, I'm done.
How is it having so much freedom to choose the stories you want and then film it and then edit it and then script for it in relation to actually working within a team, within the newsroom?
People are like, oh, you just do it so easy. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm absolutely terrified, screaming, shrieking internally, but I just do it anyway. Kayaking on the ocean, it was one of the most magical experiences I've ever had. I saw jellyfish and dolphins and penguins. That filled me with a sense of awe of the natural beauty of this world and the responsibility we have.
We're gonna end-ish with some general knowledge questions about Cape Town. You've been doing very well. Did you get any of them wrong yet? Aina is known worldwide for her food reviews.
Ecosystem.
Sister.
Here we go. Right.
Out of 10, Aina?
I would say this is a...
This is People of the Cape. Some people follow the news, but some chase it across continents, searching for stories that refuse to be ignored. Today's guest is one of those rare voices, Aina J. Khan. Aina is a journalist, writer and presenter with bylines in the New York Times, The Guardian, Middle East Eye and Al Jazeera English. Her reporting has taken her everywhere from the occupied West Bank and Pakistan to the US, Senegal, Tanzania and now, right here, South Africa. In 2021, she became the very first international fellow at the New York Times. But beyond the accolades, what I've witnessed in the 10 years I've known her is her uncompromising commitment to truth and her longing to tell stories that reach the soul. Recently, Aina packed up her life in England. Done with the noise of the West, she set out with full commitment on a journey of discovery, uncovering Indigenous voices, forgotten histories, and in the process, rediscovering herself. While she's here in the Cape, I couldn't let her move on to the next chapter without sitting her down for this conversation. So, stay tuned. This is People of the Cape with Aina J. Khan. Aina, I've been following you around today behind the scenes for a podcast that you're recording.
Yes.
Can you tell me more about the topic and what it is that we were doing today?
So I'm recording a podcast about gentrification in this neighborhood, Bo-Kaap, which historically has been home to the Cape Malay community. They're a racially mixed community. Most of them are Muslim. And yeah, sadly, gentrification has been affecting this community and other neighborhoods here in Cape Town as well. And the local community are really feeling the encroachment of hotel developments, some of which are actually ahead of us, new plots that are going to be rising up in the next couple of years as well. And it's threatening not just the local layout of this neighborhood, which as you can see is really beautiful, but also the culture as well. The Cape Malay community has this gorgeous, as you know, very, very distinct culture that formed in resistance to Dutch colonialism, apartheid. So they are one of the most unique Muslim communities, one of the most unique communities, full stop, you'll ever meet. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
So just behind us is the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
We are in Cape Town. Tell me what brings you here.
I needed to get out of the UK. I was breaking out of jail.
For some of the sun, maybe?
100%. It's supposed to be winter right now as well, but yeah, definitely the sun. But more, I mean, South Africa's anti-apartheid history and the people and the beauty of the country as well. Like there was so much that drew me here, and I just really felt a calling to come. So
this is your second time returning.
This is my second time.
So you came back.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
It must have really left an impression.
I mean, South Africa has been calling to me for the last 20 years, ever since I learned about apartheid history in this country and the legacy of Nelson Mandela. Like I was 10 years old when my primary school teacher, Mrs. Skipper, played a song that was about Nelson Mandela's release from Robben Island, which by the way is literally behind us as well. 27 years in prison. And I don't know, child me was sat on that polished wooden floor. And I never forgot the song that Mr. Skipper played. I never forgot the assembly that he did about Nelson Mandela and the things that I learned about the apartheid regime, the injustices that they had inflicted on Black South Africans especially, but also other South Africans. So yeah, just for over 20 years, this country has been calling to me. So I think it was basically a matter of time. It was inevitable that I was going to end up here.
Yay. Well, ahla wa sahla. We're super happy to have you. And please stay for as long as you would like.
Well, as long as the government will let me stay.
And that. Yeah, no illegal action here.
No.
So Aina, mashallah, you have worked for some really big names within the journalism industry. So you've worked for the New York Times, for Al Jazeera, for the Middle East Eye, for Vice News. Mashallah, these are really big institutional journalism giants. And you could have continued down that path. You could have gone on to climb that journalism career ladder and maybe land yourself a quote unquote dream job, to what the majority may find a dream job. But you decided to take quite a shift. You decided to leave those more traditional institutions and actually find your own path. By leaving England, you've actually packed up, literally,
I did.
And left. You've waved goodbye to the British Isles.
Put all my stuff in storage
You
as well.
put all your stuff in storage.
That makes it official.
It does. It totally does. And then you decided to also intentionally travel. Like, I know you've always loved traveling, but now there's also a story to it because you're also filming a really beautiful series, a project called Land. And I want to know more about Land. Please tell us more about that. But first, what is the shift? Why?
I mean, the shift was because of the genocide in Gaza. It changed everything for me. I think the way newsrooms that I've worked with in the past, the way they covered the genocide, it was a real moment of professional heartbreak for me and for my colleagues in the industry, for those of us who have Palestinian colleagues and friends, for those of us who've been to Palestine. It was a real profound sense of heartbreak for us because, you know, when doctors take a Hippocratic oath to do no harm, I believe as journalists we take an oath to bear witness and to tell the truth. And it just felt that there was a real reticence to tell the truth in legacy media when it came to the genocide in Gaza. And to be quite honest, even now, I still can't believe what has happened. We've had over 200 of our colleagues in Gaza killed. That's an unprecedented number of journalists. And, you know, I remember when Evan Gershkovich, who was an American journalist who was working for the Wall Street Journal, he was imprisoned by the Russian authorities. There were front page headlines, there were hashtag campaigns, colleagues rightly calling for his release very publicly. And there has been such a deafening silence around the killing of our colleagues in Gaza, the killing of Palestinians who are not journalists. And that really broke my heart. I went into journalism because I wanted to make a difference, and it feels as though sections of mainstream media have been complicit in justifying Israel's actions. They've been complicit in enabling this genocide. And yeah, for me, it was a real sense of moral crisis. I'd always known that, you know, I went into the mainstream media knowing that there were issues of racism, classism, Islamophobia, misogyny, you name it, it was all there. So I wasn't so naive to think that it was an unblemished industry that I was just, you know, flouncing into. And I wasn't so naive to think that I could change everything either. But you'd think after 20 years, over 20 years later, after 9/11 changed the world's landscape. The media landscape changed as well. The way Muslims were depicted in mainstream media was utterly horrific, and in some ways fueled a lot of the Islamophobia that we saw after that as well. I just didn't think it could ever happen again, and really with Gaza it has happened again. So that for me was the springboard moment, if you will, the watershed moment where I was like, I'm done.
And now you've decided to take a completely, well, it's not a completely different direction. You're still a journalist. You're still finding stories. You still want the people, the masses to know about these, you know, little pockets of society or stories from afar that maybe the average journalist wouldn't necessarily bring to our attention.
Yeah.
But now tell us what's different. What are you doing differently now? And tell me about the project of land.
Yeah, I mean, what's different now is that I'm doing stories that I've always done stories that I cared about. That's always been my modus operandi with journalism. I've never not done stories and about communities that I don't care about. Here and there, you do stories that are just like, oh, you got to do it because you have to do it. But, there's always been passion in my stories. This time it is different, though, because now the focus is on land and the way indigenous communities see land. There was just a real lack of understanding about, in secular newsrooms, mainstream newsrooms, about how Palestinians see land. I've been in so many newsrooms where people have asked, well, even outside newsrooms as well, why don't the Palestinians just leave their land? Why didn't they just go to Egypt? Why didn't they just pack up and do this? But then anyone who says that has never met a Palestinian Ammu in his 70s or 80s who will literally tenderly brush the leaves on an olive tree and say, my great-grandfather planted these olive trees and these trees are like my children. I felt that understanding, that love that Palestinians have for their land was really missing. And it's something that I really deeply felt when I was in the occupied West Bank 3 years ago. And it's also a feeling and a sentiment that I know indigenous communities that are from vastly different faith backgrounds, linguistic language backgrounds, ethnicities, they understand Palestinians in a way so many others don't, even though there's so many ostensible differences, right? So I just became really curious about that. And, going to I've covered the demonstrations for Gaza in London. I saw such a vast diversity of people that really spoke to me about how this issue, how this genocide, how the occupation of Palestinian land is really speaking globally to people of all faiths, of no faith, of all races. And I think that also really underscored to me that actually there's something, the Palestinian cause is so much bigger than just something that's rooted to Palestinian land. As I said, it's rooted in the suffering of all people who have been colonized and disenfranchised over these centuries because of empire and colonialism. So I think that's what really, as a grandchild of Pakistani Pushtun migrants who were born under British India, colonized India, there is a personal resonance as well, because our history was so informed by this too. So that's really why there's been a real fascination with land.
And you've already gone to a few countries and you've already filmed a few episodes for this series that you're doing. One of them was in New Zealand. So tell us just very briefly, what was that like for you there?
The Maori are one of the proudest peoples you'll ever meet. And I think one of the reasons I really wanted to go to Aotearoa, New Zealand was because I know the Maori are so proud of their culture, their heritage, their language and their land. And, they've been in New Zealand for 700, 800, 900 years. Since their ancestor landed on the North Island all those centuries ago. And their connection to land, I have to say, it was really, I think it changed the way I see land. It changed the way I walk on land because they believe that land is a sentient thing. It thinks, it speaks to them. I met an amazing land healer called Tohei Ashby in the North Island of New Zealand. And it was thanks to my adopted Maori grandfather, Johnny, who took me there and, set all of this up for me. I'm so grateful to him. But Tohei Ashby, this land healer, was talking to me about just the little things, Nadia. Like when you take from land, you have to ask for permission. When the land is sick, sometimes it's because the people are sick. So there was a real symbiotic relationship between people and land as well that I learned from the Maori. And it's something that First Nation Aboriginal people share as well. This notion that when the land is sick, it's because the people are sick and vice versa. It's like there's an umbilical cord that's connecting us to land. And, I mentioned umbilical cord, right? For the Maori, in their indigenous language, in Te Reo Maori, whenua, which is their word for land, actually means womb. So for them, there's a feminine energy in land. There's a feminine notion in land that it's a womb that is a container for us all. And it really changed the way I see land. And again, the way they will express their pain for what's going on in Palestine as well. It really shifts. It really shifted a lot of things for me.
When you say all this, I can't help but draw parallels between the land speaking to us, feeling our pain, taking permission. I can't help but draw parallels between that and our faith, because we know that we are stewards of the earth and we have to take care of the earth in which we live. And that doesn't just mean clearing it nicely so we can build buildings. It means literally tending to our shrubs, our plants, and then our cattle. And so I wonder then, as you're traveling, as you're going from country to country, and you've been to, is it 40 now? 40 countries.
To be honest, I've lost count.
I've lost count. Only someone that travels so much can say those words. but
it's also because I travel too much as well, and I'm just everywhere all at once.
I am right now. But with all this traveling and meeting all these indigenous people in their indigenous lands, how has that affected your faith in any way?
I mean, I feel like it's reinforced my faith because, you know, I didn't come from, I have learned so much, and the biggest blessing with traveling is that you realize how little you know, how you know nothing, right? But then I also did come from a springboard of knowing the significance of land, and as you said, how Muslims are caretakers of land from our tradition. I remember reading something by Karen Armstrong. She's a really well-known British theologian, and even she was saying how the Quran is, in the Islamic tradition, the way nature is revered, the way the environment is revered, there's a really kind of rich anchorage around that in the Quran, and it's true, and I think that's something that even Muslims don't realize. Forget non-Muslims, it's something we don't realize as well. So if anything, it's kind of reinforced my heritage, my faith background, but also I think it's really sparked these connections that I didn't see were there before, and that's also why I've set off on this journey as well. I realized with Gaza, seeing the many different people who have voiced their objection and their rage over the killing of all these innocent people in Gaza, as I said, from vastly different backgrounds. There's so many differences between, say, someone like myself and a Maori, right? But then there's also so much that we have in common.
Oh,
so for example,
yeah.
I was talking about how, Tohei Ashby, the land healer, the Maori land healer, how he spoke about land being sentient, speaking to land, healing the land, right? In the Islamic tradition, we also talk about on the Day of Judgment, when the world is going to end, for instance, how trees will bear witness to the wrong that has been done. There's something in that, that in these vastly different traditions, there is this notion that land can speak. And yeah, I don't know, I'm just kind of like, I'm still learning so much and still trying to figure out this journey as well. But I'm constantly just in awe of all of this, because I'm like, oh my God, it just feels like this intersects in so many ways that we're missing out on. And again, that's one of the main reasons I did this as well. I just want to try and somehow distill that information and just get it out there to people so we can learn.
Allah. So I resonate with all of that. I've been so fascinated from such a young age with our connection to land as well. And I see it more so in definitely when I go back to Jordan, for example. I remember a few things I was born in Kuwait, but we left when I was 4.
I didn't know you were born in Kuwait.
What?
Okay, you probably mentioned it. I've forgotten.
Okay, that's fine.
sorry.
I'll let it go. But yeah, I was born in Kuwait, so I have a few memories because we left when I was 4. But the most recent trip I made to Palestine was 9 years ago, believe it or not, and it was only for 10 days. And I remember I just stayed for 10 days, and I was with my family in occupied Jerusalem. And one of my cousins came in, and she was like all bunged up, and she was like, "Ugh, I'm really not feeling well." And you can just tell, you can tell when someone has a cold. And then she's not my grandmother, but she's like my grandmother's age, so we call her Sitto or Teta anyway. And she just pointed to the balcony, and then my cousin understood immediately what was being told, so she went and she picked some fresh za'atar. So we always know za'atar oregano right. to be dried, because it's in its dried form when it's within the za'atar mix, but you get the fresh one. And she immediately picked those leaves, and then she was like, okay, I'm gonna go home and I don't know if she boiled it and then drank the water, or just chewed on it. I'm not sure what she did, but I just remember being in awe, like, yeah, you're ill, so you go to the land. you don't need to go to a drugstore every time when you're ill. You just go to the land, because subhanAllah, we have all this medicinal plants and foliage and trees and fruits, and we should actually use them more. So I'd be really interested to see where this takes you, this series, Land. I'd really love it if you could please, it's just my ask of you, to do a bit more about the medicinal properties of land. And because I find it so fascinating, especially here, the indigenous African knowledge and wisdoms. There's so many from the fauna and flora here that people have used for centuries to heal. So I'm really excited to see where this is going to take you.
Yeah, I heard that the Khoisan, the indigenous people of Southern Africa, they had knowledge around medicinal herbs and things like that they exchanged with the Cape Malay community who live in Bo-Kaap. And to this day, the Cape Malay community have used that knowledge that they acquired from the indigenous Khoisan. It's really interesting. You mentioned herbs. I was in Jenin 3 years ago, and it was literally 2 weeks before Shireen Abu was killed. And I got really bad food poisoning. And the Palestinian khala that I was staying with gave me, she boiled maramia, which is sage, in water. And it was disgusting, but oh my God, within an hour.
I'm very sorry. It is not disgusting.
I personally thought it was disgusting. But within an hour of drinking that, whatever loose stomach I had, the horrible nausea I had, within an hour it was completely gone. I was chewing on that sage like a donkey. I was drinking that sage water like God knows what. And honestly, within an hour I was like, and ever since then, believe it or not, I now travel with a bag of Palestinian sage wherever I go, because it was so amazing and it was just such a godsend. So
do you know why I know of it? So first of all, we just drink in our tea like it's normal. It's not like, oh, I don't feel well, I must have meramia. It's just I find it delicious. But we really use it for period pain.
Oh, okay.
If you've got period pain, meramia it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go on that one.
But yeah, in answer to your question, I will try and do something about the medicinal properties of herbs, for sure.
You're welcome, because this will be beneficial for all, I'm sure. So you're a multimedia journalist. Just quickly explain what that means.
It just means you use multiple formats. So I don't just write, I do video, I might do podcasts as well. It's basically being a media octopus. You do everything.
Yes, you're all in one.
Yeah, I guess so. Jack of all trades.
You do the editing sometimes.
It's not fun. It's not fun when you have to do all of it. And it was never like that before. In the past in journalism, you did one thing, but now I think there's too much expectation for one person to do everything. But I think it's also, it's not a very common skill to be able to do all of these multiple formats effectively. And I think I'm fortunate in the sense that I can write well and I can do video really well as well.
Most certainly. And it feels like, this is a question I want to ask you. 30 or so years ago with the introduction of internet, and then 20 or so years ago with the introduction and then the kind of the fast rise of social media, especially YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat, a lot of people who either are journalists or aren't are taking to these platforms to now convey the news, quote unquote. So before, there was a very traditional way in which you would become a journalist, and there'd be a traditional way in which you work as a journalist. So if we paint the picture of 30, 40 years ago, it's the 6 p.m. news headlines. There's only 2 or 3 channels you can choose from on dialogue TV anyway. And you're with your family, you sit down and here is the news. There may also be some tabloid or some broadsheet newspapers, and that's it. That's the news that you can receive. Then the internet, and then now social media. It almost feels like anyone can call themselves a journalist if we're not careful. And even for actual journalists like yourself, how is it having so much freedom to choose the stories you want and then film it and then edit it and then script for it in relation to actually working within a team, within the newsroom? It must come with its positives and negatives.
It definitely does. It definitely does. Look, when you're in a newsroom, obviously you're restricted. You're restricted in terms of what you can do. When you're outside of a newsroom, it's complete creative liberty. You can do anything and everything, but the problem is you do everything. So I have to say that's one of the things I love about what I'm doing right now is I can do anything, but one of the things I hate about it is I'm doing absolutely everything by myself, from travel admin to scripting and editing and filming and, you know, all of these things. It's a lot. It's really, really overwhelming. But I think in the age of social media though as well, I think obviously there's massive positives with it. It's democratized where newsrooms weren't giving platforms to people like myself before. Social media, you can create your stories, and audiences, if they connect with it, they're going to come and follow you.
And it's an instant reaction as well.
It is, and you bypass the traditional newsroom. So I think in that way, it's been the biggest blessing with social media is the way it's democratized that space for disenfranchised communities or journalists who happen to come from disenfranchised communities.
Well, we know factually in terms of numbers, traditional media outlets such as the BBC or CNN, their viewing numbers are actually dwindling, and now all the figures are in YouTube channels such as the Piers Morgan show. I don't think it's called that. What's it called? Uncensored, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
That show there. In terms of numbers and viewership, it seems like online is where it's all happening now. People don't even watch analog TV anymore. So what is that doing to the traditional journalists? Like, is that actually dying a slow death now?
It was dying a slow death for a long time, but I also feel like, there was a reluctance from legacy media to shift over into social media, places like Instagram and TikTok. But now, go look at their accounts. They're really pushing there because they know that on Instagram, it's millennial audiences. On TikTok, young Gen Z, younger than that. They're getting their news from these social media platforms, so they don't have a choice. So legacy media was kind of dying before in terms of, you know, the views, and it was getting on traditional formats like in print, on TV. But now obviously it's a different kind of worms where it's like, okay, social media, and like you said, not anyone can be a journalist, but there are many people who are building followings because of, kind of influencer content, which I would say personally is kind of opinion / news, and the two are actually they're very different. They're very very different. Opinion is actually one thing completely different, and actually telling a story is also different in its own way. The two can intersect, but you do have to decide. And I remember I definitely went through this at one point as well. You do have to decide which one are you. Are you someone who tells the stories of other people? Or are you someone who gives your opinion about what's going on in the world? Two very different things.
And which one are you?
I'm someone who tells stories. I'm a storyteller. That's exactly why I went into journalism. Of the stories that keep somehow finding their way to me, the people that I'm finding my way to, should I say, actually, it's the other way around. They're not finding their way to me, it's the other way around. I'm being drawn to them somehow. So I think that's why I'm staying in, because I'm still learning, I'm still finding hope through their stories. And I think that's the biggest thing as well. So long as I keep finding that sense of hopefulness, a sense of awe, a real sense of awe of the beauty that exists in these communities and in the places that I travel to, I will stay in journalism. And I think when I lose that, that's the day I will leave. The day I feel like I'm not making a difference. And to be honest, it's not like I don't feel like I'm making a huge difference now. I'm just, for me, right now, it's really about learning and sharing that learning with other people. And I think the moment I stop getting satisfaction from that, that's when I'll stop being a journalist.
We're learning together.
Exactly.
Well, that level of strength I have seen in you. We were talking about a motto that we believe in, or that really helps us, which is feel the fear and do it anyway. Aina, I know that you enjoy a lot of adrenaline junkie type activities. Yeah. One of them, I would feel a bit scared about climbing to the top of Table Mountain, but for some reason you're quite all right with that, aren't you? You're quite good at hiking, but something that does make you feel scared is the ocean.
Yes.
And we often speak about how we have such love and respect and awe for the ocean, and at the same time, equally the same amounts of fear from what lies beneath. It's such a beautiful butterfly. Came to say salam.
Oh, it's coming closer.
Here we go.
Yeah.
And yet tomorrow, I believe, you've booked a snorkeling experience.
I haven't booked it yet. I'm in two minds.
No!
I'm in two minds.
Within the Cape Cod, but I know it's something you do want to do. And a few weeks ago, you did go kayaking in the ocean.
I did.
So, I've seen you, though, around the world, wherever you visit, you say to me, Nadia, I was so scared, but I did it anyway. What's this inner courage? Where's it coming from?
Honestly, I don't know. It's probably my ancestors, the centuries of repression that we lived under. I'm just trying to live it out for them, you know. I don't know where it comes from. I honestly, I really do feel terrified with most of the things that I do, where people are like, you just do it so easily. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm absolutely terrified, screaming, shrieking internally, but I just do it anyway. I don't know. I just feel like a life that is well lived, you have to take those leaps, and I don't know, it's just something that I don't want to miss out. I don't want to miss out. I don't want to be on my deathbed.
You get real FOMO then.
No, here's the funny thing. I don't get FOMO. It's not, I don't feel the need to be everywhere all at once. It's just the feeling of wanting to do things that give me a sense of awe of the world. Kayaking on the ocean, it was one of the most magical experiences I've ever had. I saw jellyfish and dolphins and penguins. That filled me with a sense of awe of the natural beauty of this world and the responsibility we have. It's not FOMO. It's literally just having, being reminded of the profound respect that we should have for the natural world, but also of its beauty. And it's more that. And it's why I travel as well. Like, I just constantly feel like it's always this, it's a turning back constantly that, okay, you know what, there's all of this going on, but there's good things in the world, there's beautiful things in the world, and don't ever forget that. So I think that's why I do it. So I don't think it's courage, it's just more clinging on to that and just helping.
And you're happy you do it in the end, right?
Yeah. But like I said, screaming while I do it internally.
So yeah, that's something I think I want to live more by, which is feel the fear and do it anyway. Especially when you know it's all right.
Yeah, but you have done it. You moved to a whole other country. That's terrifying.
But there was no fear with that at all. Okay. Like, it was more fearful to stay.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably now are a bit familiar with that feeling. Yeah. No, there was no fear with that. I'm more scared a bit of heights. So sometimes I have to really be reminded of that kind of motto, and it does help me, because I'm like, we're all right, actually, nothing's gonna happen.
I'm scared of heights too. You know, if I'm standing on like a cliff and I can see the drop, my legs actually start to wobble. I have no control. My legs are just like this. I was hiking up a waterfall recently with my friend Aisha, Tugela Falls. It's like the highest waterfall in Africa, and literally as I got to the precipice, my leg just like gave way, and I was like, I had to crawl on the ground. I was like, okay, I need to feel the ground.
How you just do it anyway, though. I really do. I think it does take courage, and even if you don't know where it comes from, it's wonderful that you do them. I really love that in you.
Thank you. Thank you. It probably comes from my mum. My mum's really brave, so you know, she's a bit of a rule breaker. So
there we go. It's always the mothers.
Yeah, definitely.
So listen, we're gonna end ish with some general knowledge questions about Cape Town.
Okay. Oh God.
Okay. Oh. Seeing as we are here.
Boy.
I have tried my best to choose questions. Now listen, I actually purposefully did not make them difficult.
Okay.
And that's because I thought maybe many people watching who aren't familiar that much with Cape Town might genuinely not know.
Okay.
So you should be happy with the choices.
Okay.
So please play along and quickly shout out the answer before Aina does. Number 1. What are the names of the 2 countries that colonized South Africa?
The Netherlands and the UK.
And Great Britain. Precisely. Well done. Question number 2. What is the name of the famous beach where you can see the African penguin in its natural habitat?
Boulders Beach?
Yes!
That was right. Okay.
Boulders Beach in Simonstown. You've been, right?
I went with you, actually. That's the only reason I know the answer. I went with you
but we
3 years ago.
No, we didn't even get to experience. Remember, we just walked on this bridge.
We were on the walkway. I went on the sand as well.
The walkway.
It was really nice.
I think we should swim with them this time.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, cool. We're going to feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me with a life jacket, because I can't swim.
Okay, number 3. Let's see. This one. Which hospital was the world's first ever heart transplant performed?
No idea.
I actually didn't know the name of the hospital, but did you know that the world's first heart transplant heart transplant happened in Cape Town?
No, I didn't.
Yes,
wow.
And I know that's a pretty good claim to fame, isn't it?
That's really cool.
And the hospital is called, or was called, Groot Hospital. Listen, a lot of these names are in Dutch and I don't say them properly, so I'm very sorry. I think it's like Groot or something like that, but it's, in English you say Groot. Okay, how are we doing at home? We're on number 4. What prominent natural landmark overlooking the city bowl recently became one of the 7 natural wonders of the world?
Oh, Table Mountain?
Yes.
I didn't know this.
It's one of the natural 7 wonders of the world now.
Wow.
So Table Mountain, its flat-topped sandstone is over 200 million years old.
What?
Yes. And it makes it one of the planet's oldest mountains.
Oh my God, I didn't know this.
That's really
I was
cool.
hiking it a couple of weeks ago. That's amazing.
See, you would have given it a bit more reverence had you known that, wouldn't
I would
you?
have been touching the floor.
Yeah. Number 5. What is the name, we've already actually mentioned this, what is the name of the famous island prison where former South African President Nelson Mandela was held for 18 years?
Robben Island.
Correct, and it is literally just behind us there. Yeah. So Robben Island is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's about 7 kilometers offshore. It was first a leper colony before becoming the notorious maximum security prison that visitors go and reach by ferry. You've been, isn't it?
I have, and one of the interesting things I actually learned about Robben Island recently is that Indonesian, Malaysian rebels who were taken by the Dutch from their lands in the 1600s, some of them are actually buried on Robben Island, and there is actually a small mosque on Robben Island. It's crazy, and I saw that 3 years ago. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It's like a shrine to one of some of them who've been buried there.
Yeah, there are many karama to it. So that's a, I think it's a Malay word, wallahu alam, karamat, what we would call a maqbara or a shrine.
In Portugal we say qabr, it's probably from maqbar.
Yeah. And so there's a whole load of history that happened on that piece of land just there.
Yeah.
Definitely encourage visiting. Okay, number 6, which you've been doing very well. Okay. Did you get any of them wrong yet? Just the hospital
one. Yeah.
Okay, which botanical garden is the first of its kind, founded with the specific intention of preserving, sorry, that just was not coming out, the country's unique flora?
Is it Kirstenbosch?
Yes! So, did you know this about Kirstenbosch? The Cape Floristic region is the smallest yet richest of the world's 6 recognized floral kingdoms. Okay. I think I might have told you this. Okay. Harboring over 9,000 plant species, which is about 70% of which are found nowhere else on the earth.
Okay, amazing.
So in this little cape,
right,
there's 70% that's not found anywhere else in the world.
They say it's endemic, if I'm not mistaken. Is that the right word? It's literally only found here.
Yeah, and it's renowned for its fynbos, heathlands, and its proteas.
Amazing. I mean, I love proteas.
Yes, I know. You do. Okay, well done. Number 7. What important governmental building is located in Cape Town? So a clue. The seat of government is in Pretoria, but which buildings are based in Cape Town?
I actually don't know this.
Parliament.
Okay, Parliament is in Cape Town. Okay,
you probably pass it in the city quite often. Might not have noticed it.
Yeah.
So that's that. Number 8. Which iconic Cape Town building, once situated right on the ocean, but now has a busy road running beside it, is the oldest colonial building in South Africa?
Isn't it that castle?
Yes. Yeah. Do you remember the name?
Castle of Good Hope.
Yes.
Oh, still.
Have a bit more faith in yourself.
No, I'm just rummaging in my brain. I'm just like, I'm not exactly sure.
Somewhere. Yes. So the Castle of Good Hope, and it was built in 1606 by the Dutch East India Company. Oldest building. Number 9. This one Aina is going to love. Which famous water-based mammal can be spotted in Cape Town to birth and nurse their young?
Humpback whale or southern right?
Particularly between the months of June to November.
Southern right whale and humpback whale.
Correct. And you saw them, didn't you?
I have seen them. I saw a mum and its baby a couple of years ago, and I saw a southern right whale actually as well. So I've seen both species.
We're so lucky here.
Oh my gosh,
just
such
travel
a blessing.
an hour and a half, and there you are watching this happen. Amazing. So it is a southern right whale, and also the humpback. They migrate to South Africa's sheltered bays using the calm, plankton-rich waters off Cape Town and Hermanus, and they're easily identified by their V-shaped blow. And these 50-ton mammals often breach and tail slap close to shore, making the Cape one of the world's premier land-based whale watching sites.
Amazing. I can't wait to see it, honestly. I know. I'm counting the days.
We're totally making a plan with this one. And number 10, listen, so far so good. You're on you're on your way to an A, not an A star, but an A. After the South African Sign Language was added in 2023, how many official languages does the Constitution now recognise?
Oh my God. Is it like over 20?
Not quite.
Okay.
You
I have
want to
no
take one
idea.
more guess?
15?
Okay, better.
Okay.
It's actually 12.
Okay.
There are 12 official sign language. Again, there are 12 official languages in South Africa. Can you name us a few other than sign language?
Zulu, Xhosa, Afrikaans, English.
Here we go. I would have only
know.
stopped there, to be honest. Have you heard of Setswana?
Okay. Oh, Sesotho as well. Sesotho is a language.
Yes, also. And then I'm not even going to bother with the rest because I think they have clicks in them.
Okay. Yeah, the clicks are hard.
The clicks are
Still
hard.
can't do Xhosa.
Look, you're doing it well, eh?
Xhosa.
I was quite impressed with that. Well done.
My Xhosa friends would probably be like, nah, I haven't quite got it.
Well, I will give you a little clap.
Thank you.
Aina?
Yes.
Aina is known worldwide for her food reviews, and usually it's knafa. You actually have a whole story on that, don't you, on your Instagram? Wherever you go, you get a knafa.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I don't have a piece of knafa to give you.
What kind of Palestinian are you?
Do you know how often I get asked that question? I don't. We're just gonna go past that.
All right.
But whoa,
Don't fall.
but we have something else.
Okay.
That's a delicacy.
Okay.
Within the South African culture in general, but this is particularly Cape Malay.
Okay. Ah, a cosista.
A kusista.
Oh, it feels warm.
It's probably the sun.
I was going to say it feels really fresh. Okay.
So we're going to do a food review. Now you are obviously a professional at this. I've often said this should be your backup plan.
Just doing food reviews for a living.
Yeah. So Bismillah.
Bismillah, here we go.
Oh.
All right.
I bought
Kick of cinnamon straight away.
I bought this from an auntie this morning in Burkap.
You can
She
tell
only
it's fresh.
had 3 left as well. So we were very lucky to have this. Coconut on top.
Sugar syrup?
Sugar. It's quite doughy. It's kind of like a donut.
I would say so, yes.
Yeah. And
But a really strong
now
cinnamon
you talk,
kick.
I want to eat, yeah?
A little bit of cardamom as well, I think. Desiccated coconut. Look, you can see the doughy texture there. Depending on who you buy it from, I've noticed some are more crispy than others as well. But it's it's really good.
Do you like it?
Oh yeah,
But I do think that this does need tea.
100% rooibos.
I know you're a big fan of rooibos. So I think dipped it. Well, I don't know, would you dip?
No,
Never dip.
I'm not really a dipper. Only when it comes to cake rusk.
Biscuits.
Cake rusk.
Oh, on cake rusk. Okay. Rusks are really famous here as well.
I noticed,
South
by the way,
Africans
it's a very
love
Afrikaans
good
thing.
rusk. Out of 10, Aina?
I would say this is a 9 out of 10.
Wow! Do you know what? I think I would like, I'm actually surprised, but I think I'd like a bit more syrup on mine.
For me, it's perfect.
A bit more syrup. Well, Aina, thank you very much. Thank you for allowing us into your world.
Thank you for having me and for giving me this lovely cosista.
That surprise for doing the interview. It's been a pleasure talking to you and going into your mind a bit and asking you some really difficult questions on South Africa, which you did really well.
Thank you for not asking anything too difficult.
And we wish you all the best with land and wherever your journey takes you.
Thank you.
And you know that Cape Town is home. So ahla wa sahla.
Thank
for
you.
whenever you choose to come back.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Mwah. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Mwah.
Bellissimo.
Bellissimo. Well done, Aina.
Yalla, yalla.